He initially turned the show down, said he was too busy. And the man who came back to ask him again was the same man who had built the entire program from nothing. So when he finally said yes, he had no idea he was walking into nearly 4 decades of television history. Tom Silva has been the backbone of Ask This Old House since it launched in 2002. But the question fans keep searching for is whether the man who taught a generation of Americans how to build things properly is finally stepping away. And the answer is more complicated than most people expect. Tom Silva was born in 1947 in Lexington, Massachusetts, into a family that treated construction as a way of life. His first major project didn't come from a job site, it came from his own basement. His father had purchased a 1787 colonial home, a house that was already more than 150 years old when Tom was growing up in it, and decided it needed a fallout shelter underneath it. This was the Cold War era. The project involved hand-digging a 20 by 40 by 12-foot hole beneath the house, hauling away boulders by hand, mixing cement, and framing it out from scratch. Tom and his brother Dick worked on it every weekend for 2 full years under their father Phil's direction. Tom was still in high school during most of it. When it was finished, he said the sense of pride he felt was unlike anything else he had experienced. He knew from that moment that construction was what he wanted to do for the rest of his life. He and his brother eventually co-founded Silva Brothers Construction, a family contracting firm that built a strong reputation along the North Shore and in the Boston area for quality craftsmanship and historic preservation work. The television part came later and almost didn't happen at all. Ask This Old House creator Russell Marash had already been watching Tom work for years on the parent show. Tom had first appeared on This Old House during season 9, doing a brief segment about kitchen cabinets, and became the show's general contractor the following year. When Ask This Old House launched in 2002 as its own spin-off, built around house calls, viewers submitted questions, and practical fixes, Tom was part of the founding cast from day one. But here's the part that changes everything about what you just heard. The home improvement genre that This Old House created in 1979 had, by the 2000s, been copied dozens of times over. Cable television was full of renovation shows by then. Most of them followed the same template: a dramatic reveal, a ticking clock, a polished host walking through rooms that had been transformed overnight. Ask This Old House operated on a completely different philosophy. There was no reveal, there was no countdown. There was a problem, and there was Tom Silva explaining how to fix it correctly, with the right technique, the right materials, and the kind of patience that only comes from someone who has spent 50 years building things that are meant to last. Tom once said he enjoyed driving past houses with his kids and pointing out ones he had built 40 years ago, still standing, still solid. That mindset shaped everything about how he appeared on camera. He wasn't performing expertise, he was demonstrating it. His approach to old techniques particularly stood out. In an era when television contractors were increasingly relying on fast materials and shortcut methods that looked good on screen, Tom consistently pushed back toward methods that had proven themselves over generations. He understood what made structures fail and what made them hold. That knowledge didn't come from a textbook. It came from the basement of a house in Lexington, Massachusetts, where a teenager spent 2 years hauling boulders. What happened next is the reason this story spread across the internet. For close to 2 decades, the core of Ask This Old House remained stable. Host Kevin O'Connor, general contractor Tom Silva, plumbing and heating expert Richard Trethewey, and landscape contractor Roger Cook. Then the departures began. Roger Cook, the show's beloved landscape contractor, a fixture since 1982, published a letter in June 2018 saying his health had made filming too difficult. He reduced his appearances, stepped away fully in January 2020, and passed away on August 21, 2024, at age 70, after a long undisclosed illness. The show's founding quartet was now a trio. In October 2022, master carpenter Norm Abram retired from This Old House after more than 40 years on the program. Norm had never appeared on Ask This Old House. His schedule with the New Yankee Workshop had always kept him away from the spin-off, but his departure from the broader franchise sent a visible signal to loyal viewers. The original generation was moving on. Around the same time, fans started to notice something else. Tom Silva's nephew, Charlie Silva, who had joined the show in 2016 as president of Silva Brothers Construction, was appearing more frequently, taking on more visible roles. The speculation was immediate. Was Tom handing over the reins? Was a quiet succession already underway? And at this point in the story, most people walked away. What Tom did instead is the part nobody talks about. Tom Silva turned 78 in January 2025. He has been part of the This Old House franchise for nearly 4 decades. He is currently filming season 24 of Ask This Old House, which premiered on PBS and the Roku channel in September 2025. He has not retired. He has not announced plans to retire. The increased visibility of Charlie Silva on the show appears to reflect genuine succession planning within Silva Brothers construction, not a transition away from television. Tom remains actively involved in supervising the company's more complex historic preservation projects, and he continues to appear regularly on both This Old House and Ask This Old House as the show's general contractor. In 2022, the This Old House franchise received a Daytime Emmy Lifetime Achievement Award, one of only 3 series in television history to receive that honor, alongside 60 Minutes and Sesame Street. Tom Silva was among the cast members recognized. He was 75 years old and still on the tools. What the show is now looks different from what it was when Tom first showed up in 1986. Roku purchased the entire This Old House Ventures company in 2021 for just under $100 million, a deal that transferred ownership of the shows, the production studio, and the 1,500-episode library from public television into a streaming tech company. Season orders expanded from 26 episodes to 39. New subscription tiers launched. The infrastructure around the show changed substantially. But Tom Silva is still there, still checking framing, still explaining why a wall needs to be built a specific way. The story of Ask This Old House is the story of a show that has outlasted nearly every version of the television landscape it launched into. It has survived the cable renovation boom, the streaming era, a corporate acquisition, and the loss of cast members who were irreplaceable. What has stayed constant through all of it is Tom Silva standing in front of a problem and working through it with the same patience he learned in a basement in Lexington when he was 16 years old. He never wanted fame. He wanted to show people how to build a wall properly. At 78, he is still doing exactly that. The question now is how much longer the last of the founding generation can carry that standard, and whether the show that comes after him will still feel like the same program at all. Do you think Ask This Old House can survive without Tom Silva, or is he the last thing holding the original vision together? Let us know below.